I'm the very nice to meet you. I'm the guy that started the Crown Royal. I'm one of the shareholders. Don's one of the shareholders. Paul the shareholder. Anita is shareholder. We've got about 6 of them, I think. Shareholders. We've got a really big bag of owners. All different walks of life. So I've had a pretty network marketing industry or administration side. That plus years in the marketing world is why all these two industries together, and why we're pretty excited about it. And it's actually one night recently on a flight, landed in Istanbul on our way through seeing our launch in Macedonia and Philippines, where we have quite a staff, Panama, and this is where the opportunity came up, where we saw the opportunity being that there's all this money on the table that you're going to hear much more about with Moldpower. And when Don was telling me that there's hundreds of millions of dollars a year not allocated to budgets that have been allocated for downloads for apps or doing surveys, watching TV or movie trailers, for example, 007. I couldn't believe that I was hearing hundreds of millions of dollars were left on the table unallocated. So you see a daily report that Don will show you, take a look at, is you'll see number of downloads today budgeted for 25,000 or 20, whatever it is, and you only see 50, 60 get it done. So you've got all that money that is coming to play. So don't talk a bit more about that reality. That's why we're here. We found a way to scrape all that money off the table and into our networking world, which never happened before. So we can now have people join for free, completely free, make money, and then if they wish to upgrade, they can. And that's what we're trying to tell our database. We don't need you to sell anymore. If you want to, congratulations, you'll do faster and do better as you always do. But for those, we're really literally saying, if you're not good at it, which most people are not, don't do it. Let us do it. That's where Dom's team comes in, who are professionals in running campaigns. So when you drive by a package now, you can allocate either all or half that package as we release the 15, so you can do all of it or half to a campaign to get you people in your team to let you go. And you can literally sit back and watch that mechanism happen passively. We can use those leads to upgrade people who use them as a lead generation system, which a lot of the aggressive people in our database will do. Okay. So if your history, if you appreciate the history of network marketing is, you will join, and 8 out of 10 of you will not make a dime. You know that better than most. No one really makes any money. The top guys do. The reality, however, in this business is you're going to have 100% of people make money if they do a campaign. They're going to have to do 1 control the half or all, so everyone's going to be in the campaign no matter what. So ironically, we're going to be the only company in history that's ever done 100% guaranteed income or some description is going to come back to you by way of passive effort. And I like passive effort because everyone hates selling to their friends and family. Only very few do, 1% do, 2% maybe. And passive mechanism. Why I love this concept where we say you don't have to do anything. I was in a network. It was a massive scam back when I was a kid, like early 20s, and it was this company called Fortuna Alliance. I remember personally. They have sold this wonderful Fibonacci sequence. You join, you don't have to sign anyone. The system puts the people in. You don't have to do anything. Well, they were the fastest growing network in the world because everyone sold. You got to join this thing because you don't have to do anything. And it actually sold all. They sold it. So a normal network could sell 1.5 people, 2.1 people. This business was 10 people for every one person because they were selling that you don't have to do anything. So that's the great irony. So you'll find, because you don't have to do anything, you'll actually be more successful in the marketplace. Sitting around the kitchen table telling your mates, what do you do? Well, actually, just join, you don't have to do anything. The system is in place for you to do it. And that's what's so incredibly unique about the affiliate world. But so we just didn't understand how their world worked. No, they're laughing at us looking we're like dinosaurs in marketing and how we get out the marketplace. So bringing this very successful mechanism into this relatively old soul mechanism of selling. So we're trying to call it, network marketing 2.0 way forward network. So I'm going to ask them to talk about the Moldpower situation. And one of the other things, a few things I want to cover with you before we get into understanding Moldpower better. We're trying to give you that understanding. We're going to bring everyone to do it again. We'd rather you guys hear it sort of twice. With the new direction that you've read and where we're going with our public company, all Black Diamonds are going to be given an opportunity to become shareholders with us. And what I want to talk about is the unique part of that, why the flight's happening and the uniqueness about the flight for you Black Diamonds only to understand is that how we float in the UK is you need 25% of whatever your capitalisation is. So in this case, let's say capitalisation is £12 million. we have to raise 25%. And usually it's done with stockbrokers. You go to the broker, you pitch your deal, they go out to their marketplace, they get the investors, they fulfill that area. Don will consider a bit more, he's got more experience in that area. And what happens is when we said, no, we don't want that, we're going to do it ourselves. So what's going to happen is we're going to enter the market in London with all the people like yourselves and others of our friends and our shareholders. We're going to enter the market with only us, the only shareholders, the only people owning shares on the arrival as we list. And most of you, some will sell, some won't. We want some of you to sell, by the way, because obviously you're going to get a great deal from us before the list price. So you're going to get a better than list price, a good better than list price. You're going to be given an opportunity to buy more shares at the unbelievable price, which is really our price, to give you a really big win. So you're looking at a good 2 to 3 times on our list price. So you'll have a price at this price, we'll list about 3 times more. And that's just the opening bell. You can appreciate we're going private and quiet on the market, then the brokers actually have to buy the stock from us. And I'll get Don to talk a bit about what that means. So I might hand you a little bit over what this uniqueness is and the opportunity you guys are going to get to be sort of with us and to get more shares at that level. If you wish, no need to wish. We're almost going to oversubscribe already in our minds and do want to buy shares with us. So let's get it first and then we'll go outside of that. And maybe Don explain some of the uniqueness about what we're doing with the float. That's pretty important for you guys.
Sure. Thanks, Ben. I think the main reason why it makes sense for a company like this one to go public in the first place is because of the power of the network. So when a company goes public, and let's look at some successes, recent successes of companies that have gone public in the same domain, companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. What made them really successful is the fact that they had a groundswell of users who were very happy with the product that they put on the market and created a lot of excitement. So when Facebook went public, a little bit of a fiasco at first few weeks because they had mispriced their IPO price. But eventually, Facebook was still growing by double digits every single quarter. And the story took life on its own. And Facebook has market capitalization of roughly 200 billion a day. Amazon would be a similar story. Huge customer base, global customer base. And a fraction of the customer base will always convert into shareholders. So if we play our cards right, if we do right by you, our distributors, and by our affiliates, we'll get to that point in a little bit. There's a strong likelihood that there will be quite a bit of cross-sell from the distributor base, from the affiliate base into public float, into the public markets, hence driving up the share value, hence driving up the value of everything that we're here to build together. To the point, what Glenn mentioned earlier, the discrepancy that we've seen between traditional network marketers and affiliate marketers, it seems to me that there's a gap between the two that's quite wide, where some of you have been in network marketing for ages, but you've always had to use tools that were somewhat entity. You've never had that 2.0 or 3.0, the ability to actually leverage technology to your benefit. What we've done is we've built a platform from scratch that enables even the biggest dinosaur network marketer to do this very, very simply, very efficiently, or not do it at all. Let us do it on his behalf. So the default mechanism, which is being triggered by the monthly recurring co-op marketing spend, autoplay, whatever you call it right now. I somewhat disagree with Glenn when he says that you don't have to do it. Well, you don't have to do it, but we still do the work. Right? Someone is doing the work.
We press the button.
Yeah, correct. So we have a pretty large team that does recruitment, that does optimization of media buys, etc. But most importantly, when it comes to actually the marketing spend itself, we're not talking about advertising. We're talking about performance-based marketing. In other words, every dollar that gets deployed towards the end objective of that campaign, which consists of recruiting a new user. And we're in a situation in a very mature market where we can actually step into the marketplace and say, okay, with this budget, we're willing to buy traffic in Kenya, but we're only going to pay for the end result of that campaign when someone actually downloads and becomes a member. If that doesn't happen, we don't pay anything else. So those campaigns are called CPI campaigns, cost per install campaigns. They actually go beyond CPI and have key performance indicators deeper in the funnel, such as you can go in and say, okay, we're only going to buy the traffic if someone downloads the campaign, becomes a member, and actually redeems 2 offers within Mobile, which is very powerful. Because then we know we have an engaged user, an active user, no matter where he's located in the world. But most importantly, I think that the call to fame for this organization will be the ability to monetize people on a global basis in 196 countries around the world. People say 210, but unfortunately, there are only 196 as of the last count. But we're in a position where we can monetize someone as efficiently. He's located in Taiwan, in Sri Lanka, in Sub-Saharan African countries like Kenya, Cameroon, etc. Or, of course, US, UK, and some more mature markets. The only difference is the rate of monetization. Clearly, at this stage, because of GDP variances between one country and the other, a user in a developed country is worth more on a per user basis than a user in Sub-Saharan Africa, for example. But from a pure arbitrage perspective, the difference between the cost of acquisition and the rate of monetization, sometimes one of those users actually quote-unquote cheap to acquire and generates a higher return on investment. This may sound absurd, but it really isn't. Most of the app developers, most of the media agencies in the world are chasing after the same users in modern markets. So there's an inflationary pressure that drives up the cost of acquisition in places like the US, like Australia, Sweden, Western Europe, etc. In places like Sub-Saharan Africa or Kenya in particular, you can acquire the users for a song because there's no competition whatsoever. But we still have the ability to monetize it. Sometimes we're able to acquire the user with that 12 marketing budget discussed at a very, very low rate and monetize them in extreme cases 5 to 10x acquisition costs. It makes a lot of sense for us to penetrate in those markets and get as many users as we can. So all things considered, you'll have access to a dashboard, an affiliate dashboard that shows you the genealogy across the world in a live environment. As these downloads happen, as people start interacting with MonPower, you'll see them. You'll get their email address, their contact information. You see where they're from, when they're signed up, what their usage rate is within the app, how many offers they redeem, et cetera, et cetera. It's pretty exciting because all this happening in a live environment and by default on top of what you're doing on your own in terms of recruiting. I think you can see some, geometric growth in your organizations like we've never seen before. And so, for example, we're talking right now to some influencers around the world, people on social media that have large followings on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, et cetera. And they're typically your shy type. Like they're geeks, for lack of a better term. They're not necessarily salespeople. Many of them don't like talking to people. They're much more comfortable behind the scenes. But they have a large network of influence. We have this young kid, for example, in Hanoi, Vietnam, with 2.7 million YouTube subscribers. It's absurd to be going out and with an event like this and standing up in front of people and explaining to them an opportunity. But behind the camera is amazing. Obviously, it's doing something right, or even have 2.7 million followers. So you can leverage that network of influence to your benefit, and we'll provide you with some marketing material that's currently in development that will explain to you how to pitch. We'll actually put together an official pitch then as to what our value proposition is for those type of people. The reason why that opportunity is very timely right now is that with YouTube in particular, the landscape changed dramatically about 18 months ago, whereby Kid, for example, in Hanoi, Vietnam, was doing very well. It was subsidizing its daily videos, consist of tech reviews and mobile advertisements, via advertising, via revenue split.
Yeah.
And as a result of the ad blockers, which everybody uses now to get volumes, ad blockers. Ad blockers.
Okay. No idea.
Or those ads come up on your screen.
Oh, right.
They start blocking it. Every time an ad came up, you would get paid. Now they block all the ads. Stop getting paid.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so in his scenario, he has 5 times as many followers today that he had a year ago, and he's making 10 times less in revenue as a result of the ad blockers. So he's looking for and another vehicle to substitute that revenue loss, we're 100% analog proof within Mop Power control our entire ecosystem. Nobody decides what gets slotted into our control. So, this is just one example. Guys like him, there are probably 100,000 on YouTube alone. They're very easy to be content. So you can drill down on YouTube by influence, by number of views, and go to the contact information, and very often those of you who are proactive identify these influencers relatively quickly with a very, very strong value proposition, and I think very high sell-through ratio, where it will say, good to great, I'm going to give you a shot.
One of the opportunities that Dom's talking about here for people like us is that if you want to get a little bit active, you don't have to go, again, you don't have to get your mums and dads and friends. You can go and find over 100,000 of these guys. They can pitch.
Yeah.
They then pitch their database. You get that reward because, as you'll see in the rewards program, you guys are now 9 deep in commissioning structure. So 9 generations away from the beginning. So when he hits out someone, you can literally, a guy 2.7 with 300,000 people easily to get a download. And all of that, someone will react. So overnight, you have 10, 20,000 actual actives in one campaign for one guy you got. And as it drills down, you're getting 9 generations away. I mean, one move could change your game completely.
That's the type of leverage that we want to bring to the table here. That's where network marketing meets affiliate marketing on a large scale, using tools, and the tools basically are meant to provide you the leverage that you've never seen before. So we're designing quite a few of those tools. We'll make every method of marketing that we use will be put at your disposition. So you'll be able to see what works and what doesn't work, and follow the most successful campaigns that we run on your behalf, run by a professional team. And we'll give you that same intelligence to tell you, okay, this landing page is outperforming this landing page by a factor of 3 to 1. And there is no point using the loser, use the winner, and go out to your people with this creative. So you'll have access to all those tools as part of the Mop Power Marketing Dashboard. Acronym we're using is MPD for Mop Power Marketing.
So that's you guys behind the lines deciding where to push it further. Like, this is not working over here, so we're just going to put all our efforts over this sort of area here.
Yeah, so we dynamically track the success rate of every single outreach program that we're putting out there to generate downloads, installs, and loyalty of users. So when you're running, for example, an app acquisition campaign, your objective number 1 is to generate an install from a user, which means they're actually going to the App Store, downloading the app, and now it's on their phone. And you're tracking how many times they're using it, track their retention curve over a period of 1 month, 12 months, 24 months. Look at an app like Candy Crush, for example, they're tracking 36 months out. They know exactly how much they can afford to spend in marketing dollars on day 1, what's going to come out of that 36 months out. There's no guesswork whatsoever. They know where they need to spend, where not to spend. Right? It's more important to know where not to spend your marketing budget, more so than where to spend it. But the point is, we'll track everything we can see, and we'll put intelligence behind those campaigns at your disposal, so that if you want to go out with the same tools that we're using, we're handing them to you on a platter. You can use the same creatives, the same banners, the same landing pages, the same videos, etc.
And there's lots of webinars. Obviously, the webinars will cover all of this information.
Yeah, we brought on actually one of the first members in Shape. It's a gentleman who actually introduced me to that by the name of Dr. Ray Walrath. He's in Southern California, and he's in charge of corporate communications now. And all of you should have got the first email sometime today. If you haven't, you're not on the list yet. You should put yourself on that list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this from Shape, the email coming, or?
It would be from e-communications director within Shape, Dr. Ray Walrath.
Okay.
You're not on the list yet. We'll fix that today, and you'll start getting it tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll have a credit paper at the ID, and the email address you have, because today, not about
It actually could happen. I haven't looked. It's on my work email. I'm actually.
keep your junk mail as well. Okay?
And usually, if you use Gmail, it usually goes into the promotions tab.
I will.
As you can see, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find a way for you, move outside the networking mechanism that's traditionally done into an affiliate market. Yes, we're trying to call you guys more power affiliates, acting like a power affiliate in a marketplace, not as a network marketer in marketplace.
So if our affiliate is defined as a top 1% affiliate, the reason why that's important is because as a power affiliate, which all of you will be, you will have access on the Shape Rewards side, on the e-commerce platform, to deals, discounts, etc., that are historically reserved for power affiliates only. When you special discount coupons that you would never see by going directly to the merchant, that we have access to, that ultimately will send to the entire user base via simple push notifications. Coupon code, just enter your coupon code, and you'll get 10, 15, 20% off of Macy's. If you went to Macy's.com directly, you would never see it. Again, because they're reserved for power affiliates. The idea being that the merchant wants to reward the top performing affiliates that generate the most amount of transactions and are willing to create custom promotions.
Mr. Quick question, these tools that you're developing, how are we going to use those? Where do you use those to try and get other people to join? Is that what those tools are for?
That is correct. So in other words, everything that we develop internally, everything that we deploy as a marketing campaign, we'll actually produce documents within our marketing group that teaches you, number one, what we're doing, how we're doing it, so you can actually track it live. You'll be able to see the campaign as it unfolds. And you can then also proactively decide, I want to run my own campaign, but rather than dabbling and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, let me pick the winner, because there's a significant amount of marketing spent behind this already that yields into a successful customer. You can just replicate what works versus trying to do it on your own and dabbling in the dark.
I'll give you an example. We were at a same meeting in Sydney just recently, and I said to the meeting, the most powerful person that I know is not in this room to get it out. The most powerful person lives at my house. He's 14 years old. He's got 1,000 people on his Facebook. That's my son.
There you go.
And my daughter's got 1,200, and she's 17. In a school of 3,000 kids. The reality is that if you think what the marketplace is for what we're doing, it's non-traditional. This is not the traditional marketplace that you're used to dealing with. Your kids are your market. That their ability to replicate social media is unprecedented. I mean, none of us have got skill sets that our kids have, to be honest. And we don't have the effect they have, the influence that Don talks about is who are after. The tools you're getting are the tools you give to your kids, or in one of the biggest markets, Tabjack Poverty, which Don will talk about in a second, what that means in some of the markets. There's 2.2 billion people living in poverty. They're given this opportunity to sit on their phone, which they've all got. They've all got instant access to Wi-Fi all over the place through Africa and Europe and China, and we've got a massive Indian database about to engage, and I mean a massive one. So they are going to sit there all day, and they're going to go out, they're going to do 30, 40 actions a day to get their lives to change.
And they're absolutely excited about any opportunity that will come their way as well.
Absolutely.
So that is...
I mean, $10 doing some horror, carrying stuff on one side to the other, carrying water around for $10 a week, or sit at home and get into this thing and share it with their friends where they've got 2 layers of community. You can understand on a worldwide basis, we're talking numbers that we've never even heard of in our industry. And Don just casually goes, 50 to 100 million users in our database. I mean, a network company is not used to hearing numbers anywhere like that. It doesn't exist in our industry unless you're Amway and you've had 40 years to get up to those numbers. We'll blast those numbers out year one because we have a whole different mechanism, a whole different market. And who can join network marketing for free, make money, and you don't have to sign anyone up? You don't really have to. And we're almost saying, if you're not good at it, please don't. Don't screw it up for us. And that's the reality. And obviously how the mechanism works, the apps are real. I mean, I've got the app here, I'm swinging through it. There's deals, hundreds of deals going in every day. There's 120,000 deals that Dom secured from these suppliers. And the last thing I'm hoping you get covered before we get some Q&As.
So that was part of Mock Power, so was it?
Yeah. Is how many apps, why we've got these deals, how much money is on the table for us to go get. Maybe that's probably...
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to understand how the market came to fruition is to take a look at an app like Candy Crush. Right? So when Candy Crush launched, they raised private funding and locked it. Out of that funding, typically when a consumer-facing app, mobile app, typically allocates 25% of the money they raise to marketing initiatives. So you can imagine, hey, you got an app like Candy Crush, which obviously was a smashing success, currently 1 billion users around the world, second largest user base after Facebook on Earth. But then, aside from Candy Crush, you have tens of thousands of apps that have successfully raised what's called the US Series A, first round of funding. And they all go to market, they all chase after the same agencies, and they all are looking for users to download their apps. And a small fraction of those users end up becoming paid users. In the case of Candy Crush, 99.2% of Candy Crush's users have never paid a dime to use the app. Pretty significant, right? But the 0.8% that have generate anywhere between 2.7 and $3.5 billion in revenue. So when Candy Crush goes out and deploys capital towards new acquisition, which they spent roughly 1.5 billion US this year, they basically go to agencies, large agencies, that promise them, well, we can generate those downloads on your behalf. Those agencies then rely on affiliates and power affiliates like ourselves to make those transactions happen. So in reality, what you have is you have ecosystems, tens of thousands of mobile developers, or just the mobile apps alone. Just forget about all the other direct marketers, mobile commerce, mobile subscription content, etc., which we'll touch upon later. And then just focus on the apps alone. So when you aggregate all those apps, you have roughly 50 to 80,000 apps around the world that have a budget to promote themselves. They all go down the same routes. They all approach the same agencies, roughly, depending on where you're looking in the world, between 50 and 80 agencies that control those budgets. And then those offers are sitting on the dashboard, waiting for someone to promote them. That's what the problem that Glenn mentioned earlier. So when you look at any of those dashboards, you usually see a redemption rate being defined as the number of offers that are actually being redeemed versus the number of offers that are actually available on the dashboard. It's very low. Hence, millions of dollars left on the table week in, week out. Unspent budget, which frustrates the app developer because they think we just allocated budget. You guys gave us a sales pitch telling us we could get 10,000 users and we only get 500 this week, right? So, in our opinion, you only have a valuable business model if you can actually fix the problem. We believe that there's a fundamental problem in this industry that we can solve. Problem number one is that these offers are everywhere. So out of those 120,000 offers that we have access to, if I ran them by you, you'd probably recognize 5 or 10. You've never heard of the other 119,000. That's the problem. So how do you solve that problem? Well, there's two things that we do on the Mount Power side. It's an effort of aggregation and curation. Basically gathering all of these offers, no matter where they're located, including in remote places like agencies running, like a Thai agency running offers in Thailand only. And we're bringing them all via one uniform interface called Mount Power One app. And so it's a tremendous effort in the background. It consists of first locating these fields, then bringing them like the Library of Congress into one centralized location. Now, once you have them in that centralized location, the second step is the curation process. When we walk into a museum, for example, museum curators are just willy-nilly placing stuff on the wall, whether it's paintings and sculptures. This actually does it in an orderly fashion. And typically, no matter what museum you walk into the world, 90% of the artworks are sitting somewhere, in a storage room. Every once in a while, the museum curator replaces one piece with the other. Very similar here. Curation process is done via proper categorization and proper tagging. So when someone does a very specific keyword search and says, I'm looking for dating apps, well, here's 50 dating apps for you, depending on where you look. Then there is a process of geolocalization. So if I'm pulling up the app from Australia, I'm going to get a different set of available offers that I will be getting in India, in France, and other parts of the world. The reason for that is that every advertiser decides which market to target and in what language. But all that stuff is done by technology in the background. So it's very consumer friendly, and most hated word in the dictionary is friction. So our objective is to remove friction along the way, so that no matter where you're located, you just open up your app, What you see is actually available to you.
Yeah.
And you're one click removed from being able to interact and engage. Mobile content, mobile subscription. See, the best way to describe this would be to take an example. There's a lot of English Premier League soccer/football fans in sub-Saharan Africa as a result of there being a lot of top-notch African players playing in London in the Premier League. And the kids are absolutely fascinated by that. The games are not available on TV, but are available on their smartphone. So you'll see an offer that may say $5 a month, subscribe to any Premier League football game directly off your smartphone. Now, that kid is not going to have a credit card, most likely not going to have a PayPal account or any other method of payment, no bank account or anything. So how do we transact with them? Well, the friction is being removed by a process called carrier billing. Assuming that the kid has $10 off credit on his phone, which is prepaid credit typically, that scenario, he clicks on that button for $5 a month. The first $5 is automatically taken off that credit. And we, the organization, Shape, gets 50% of the recurring revenue for as long as it stays on. But it takes one click. Right? And it allows us to monetize the user that nobody else in this industry can monetize.
We're obviously affiliated with phone companies in that sense
That's
somehow.
But that merchant would be one of 120,000 offers to Texas. But that process, carrier billing offers up to 120,000, probably represents 25 to 30,000. Whatever you might can imagine, from recipes, fly fishing, any kind of premium content that's available on mobile will be available in any language you can possibly imagine. It's a very, very
And that's your background. Like your background is, I mean, I know your background is IT, which is wonderful. And you obviously, you know, your company in general, that's your IT background is pretty amazing as well. So we use technology as leverage more than anything. But what creates the commercial value are the relationships and the ability to monetize specific human behavior. And where you add the exponential factor is by, again, aggregating and curating all these offers into one single product, which has never been done before, and utilizing the network as a fuel to the fire. Because even without the network, people will share those offers with each other. Yes.
And there are two internal levels of compensation. The level one, where the user gets 25% commission on his own usage within the app. Level 2, 5%. And then 70%, and Glenn can describe that better than I can. That's what the monetary value proposition looks like for Shape members.
Basically, if you're writing it down, I want to know. It's going to be covered again, obviously, later on today. But how the money works is obviously what we all want to know. So when the 25.5 are spent in MobPower, 70% is left over. MobPower and 70% to Shape. Shape says that's our 100%. Of that 100% that's ours, which is 70% of the total of the download value, for the download with $1. We get 70 cents, we call that 100% of our income. And then when we grab it, we grab 40% of it and we give it back to you guys on another series of levels. So you've got 8 levels at 4% even. So you get that extra 8 generations of potential. So someone in Africa that's linked to your team that you got through your campaign, so you're All Blacks, you've got $5,000, you've bought, and that might get you a few hundred people, for example, that are in your MobPower team that you didn't have to work for. It's there. They start sharing, they start engaging. And as it grows away, 9 generations away from those people, you're getting paid 5% on the first level and 4% on every generation thereafter as it expands out globally. And then the good news is that your team size, so let's say you're lucky, you've got a few hundred people turn it at 30, 40,000 in your team, 8%, the last 8%, so you've got 8 levels of 4, which is 32%. The other 8% of the 40% that we're talking about here, BV, that gets turned into BV. And it's for every $100 worth of download, there's around about 4 BV that hits your team, your weakest leg in your team, and then goes up the chute, up the binary. So BV is massive. So each one of you could represent 30,000, 10,000, 5,000 people. All that money that they make in doing all their downloads comes up to $1 figure every month. It gets split in those commissions on 8 levels too, in cash. And then we grab the 8% and then jam BV. So one person could be equal to 50,000 points if you click up a line, just from one person all the way down the binary. It's the most powerful binary jag I've ever seen, where one person could reflect 30,000, 50,000, some might even have 1 million. And the joke is, as I say, Millie, our brains turn off. We go, that can't be possible. In their world, it's nothing. Like
Exactly.
It's
Their
just
mindset
nothing.
is different level in terms of
Our mob power, like the people that we introduce through our app,
Yep.
goes into our tree. What about the team? So everyone gets their own DB from their own app?
Exactly. So you can literally be, let's say all 35 of you here are in exactly 17 and 18. So you're sitting there in the tree like that. And all of you have 10,000 people on average linked to your team. And all those 10,000 all over the world that you've got from your campaign. And of course, every time you pay your auto ship, which we're changing the brand, you get the new name soon. Keeps adding people to it, so you've got that choice. You can also just put money in your Shape account and spend it as you wish. But if you pick the campaign, you keep feeding your own team, which is a smart call. I mean, I'd rather get income from my team building and then go spend that, not spend it on a cost and lose the leverage of money on a campaign.
That's a commissionable transaction.
oh yeah.
So then everyone at the end of the month, you have 10,000, every person down is representing one person, representing 10,000, all the way down, just in this small group we're talking about here. Imagine on a global scale where people have over 1 million people in their teams. Started early with us, like you guys. Maybe found an influencer on a YouTube channel with 3 million users and you got a deal, that guy, and he jams 300,000 people in your team to replicate. It's not hard to understand how the numbers are exponentially bigger than anything we've seen. And that's why this incredible combination of affiliate marketing and networking is really, I mean, if you think about why did we do it, it's pretty simple. We're like the ignition of the program. The program would work already on its own without questions given. And he knows all the influencers, he's going to get millions of people and turn hundreds of millions. But we're a big ignition for that. What that means is as you buy a package, that money goes to fund a campaign right now, get more people in right now. And of course,
Including finding them.
and that's why networking and the packages, we're pre-funding campaigns to drive a bigger base. And you as Black Diamonds get benefits from that. And obviously you're going to become shareholders, whether you like it or not. And Mob Power campaign, the point is that in your mind, remember 40% of all revenue on every download goes to the company. That's how much we make. So as Black Diamond, it's 40%. So if we have $1 million worth of downloads a day, which is a lot, it's 400 grand a day. And that's why you see the public float story makes a lot more sense to you because it's extremely profitable. We're in a media sector that's incredible price earning ratios that we'll learn much more about in the future. But my point is we're in a very good position going forward, highly cash flow. And we're using the network to give us this massive injection of energy off the bat. And only network companies can do it. I mean, we are unique in that department. So that's why we're pretty pumped about it all. You guys are in an incredibly good position. And really, you're pretty comfortable with sitting right now. It's the best move you've ever made. Now, after all, it's a great story. And if you don't understand exactly what we're saying, it doesn't matter. You know, you're in good hands. The campaigns linked to your accounts are going to happen for you. You don't have to do anything. We sort of know what we're going to do this year. We're going to let you know over the next sort of week or so what we're going to do as we launch on the 15th. So you as Black Diamonds, just sit there, let us do it. We're handling you. You're being handled. And we're going to make sure you guys are okay. And then of you that want to really get going, well, then there's plenty of training stuff, techniques you're going to learn. And the tools that you talked about are, you grab that from your back office, put it on your Facebook. If someone clicks it, it links it to you. There's all these tools that you just learn how to get your kids to do it if you're not good on the internet. They'll place it for you. They'll go, okay, Dad, I know how to put that. I'll put that there. I'll put it on my Facebook, Dad. And next thing you know, this thing will literally go out. I mean, my own son, 40 goes, I do like make $5-6 a day, $10 a day for an hour's work every day. That's $300 a month, Dad. For a 14-year-old going to school. Bring it on.
They're so smart, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know how many, but they're so smart.
You're smart enough.
Yours are smarter.
Exactly. I mean, network marketing companies are usually 18 and above for businesses, but Mob Power is not that. Mob Power is not no age restriction. So for your sons and kids to do that, we wouldn't have them in shape, they're too young. But for the Mob Power 1-2 levels, go for gold.
What's the age limit on Shake? 21?
18.
18?
Yeah, it's always been that business age. You make an
Is it
investment.
gambling though?
Sorry.
Is it the gambling side?
No, it's always been the way. The last thing I want to cover, because we're going to get to
That's
it.
a question. What's your biggest area of concern as a business like at the moment? consider the biggest weakness?
Yeah, actually, you've led me into my perfect. It's almost like I gave you that question to ask me. Actually, what our biggest weakness is that we have got too many cogs on the wheel, and we're cutting them all off. So one part I'm leading into is we're getting rid of gaming. And when I say we're getting rid of gaming, we're cutting it off and replacing it with our negotiations. We're now completing with William Bill and Ladbrokes globally. So instead of us being a gaming platform on our own, which has caused so much grief, it's incredible for us. We're cutting it off. We are going to be what you see on that article, Shake Rewards.
Because gaming is gaming, right?
It's for us to permeate the global market in gaming will take us years, endless licenses, huge investments, and non-stop chocolate licenses. And there's legislation coming to Australia that we've just been informed, which is the reason why we made a conversation, which we went and saw them in Sydney when we were there. And the comment is that the laws have changed to the point where if we as Australians are promoting a gaming site not licensed in Australia, it is not right. We're going to be fined heavily and worse. So we're not going to put you guys at risk, we're not going to put us at risk. We've got a platform that we don't have to, we can just simply go, okay, William Bill Australia, Ladbrokes UK, the company in Bulgaria that works, the company in England that works, we can overnight saturate globally a gaming platform run by others. We still get great commissions back. We actually work the numbers out. The commissions we can actually carry back with our numbers are better than our profit margin running our own. It's just without the headache and all the drama and the costs and the time it's going to take us up overnight, we can go global with our gaming platform. And it's a platform. So all you're going to see now is Shake Rewards, and you're going to see Moldpower going forward, and every product and every service we ever wanted to do will be jammed into those platforms. The travel is all there. It's going to. We're going to do a changeover. We're just letting you guys know before you must. So we're just going to ease changeover. We're just going to finalise our deal with all the William Ladbrokes at the moment, which is just about that far away from being done. Once that's done, the announcement will come out. We've decided, and we're now looking at our new partner in gaming, Australia, is this company.
Any competition that you're aware of?
In what we do. The biggest problem anyone's going to have competing with us is trying to replicate Moldpower. Go to get all those agencies and get 120,000 deals aggregated into one platform. I said, if anyone even starts today with a big budget, they're 2 years away from pulling it off. We'll be a saturated market by then. We'll be all over the place.
And we welcome competition because it validates the marketplace. So at any given time, what we're telling ourselves, that we're not seeing anybody doing what we're doing right now, is you always have to assume that 10, 15 companies are doing exactly the same thing you're doing right now. So how are you going to outmarket them? And I think, using the network as fuel to the fire is one way. Building a global footprint from the very start is yet another. So technology is never really the hurdle, but I think the strategy and the execution upon that strategy is usually what gives you the leg up against something.
The ones who want to wrap this part up, and we'll get to the next meeting. Of course, as this finishes, you can grab us at the end. We'll wrap up our point. But the reason why the model is something you need to understand, what you're investing in your time and energy with us is a platform that doesn't have a weakness. And I'll get long maybe to talk about this. This is what you're in now. You're in something that we can't fall over because one product falls over, or there's a legislation change like we're just saying. It's an ecosystem that can be pulled in, pull out, take this one out. That's what you're in now.
When Glenn told me a couple of days ago that he wanted to pull out gaming relationships, I looked at him and said, I thought it was the plan all along. Why would you run any type of product on a one-off basis when that's the reason why we built the platform? The reason why we built the platform is because the platform, just like eBay, gives you access to anything money can buy and money cannot buy. So unlike a typical network marketing company that's tied into one product or one service that ultimately goes obsolete, will never go obsolete because the platform is changing the live environment. It's adjusting based upon the offer flow that's available on a worldwide basis. And we're just tapping into that offer as it evolves. So by definition, will never be obsolete.
Okay, guys, we're getting them wound up. So, look, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. And hang on to the next part. And then at the end, please come and find us. If you want any other questions, we'll be here quite a while up.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Guys, just quickly, given holding our space, so we need to